How do you stay effective in the current freight market in this really tough economic situation? Let me break it down for you. First thing is expectations. What you need to remember, this problem, this economical problem, is bigger than you. It's bigger than me. It's bigger than the company that you work for. So basically, you need to be realistic with your expectations. If you see the world burning and you're still getting all worked up because you can't get no $2 a mile, you're gonna be there for a rude awakening, because you have to be realistic. What you need to remember, there are people that haven't gotten a check for 2 months, and most of the people in this country, we live from paycheck to paycheck. So review your expectations and be reasonable. How about pick up last week's settlement, do the math, break it down per mile, and try to beat it by a few cents this week. I think that would be a realistic expectation, but don't kill yourself over it. Now, the second topic is, so the tools. How do you actually make it happen? How do you actually make the best out of what's going on right now as an owner operator? And by the way, for a second, gonna jump back into the expectations. I'm not saying that you do not deserve better. I'm just saying, look around. The world is on fire. This is what's going on, and it would be fairly delusional to expect getting the same results as in the best days ever, because $2 a mile was, for the most of the time, always partially a challenge. So the tools. Now is a perfect time to review the relationships. What business relationships do you have? Do you have any brokers, customers that you can apply the relationship to and get the best out of it? Now, what you need to understand, again, the world is on fire. So the relationship is not going to work where you are trying to get $2 a mile, and because people have a relationship with you, we are giving you $2 a mile. Because the problem is, we are not getting nowhere near $2 a mile, so they still have to put the bread on the table. The way the relationships work, especially right now, is whoever you provide a service to, the broker, the shipper, doesn't matter. What you need to do, you need to make sure that you provide the best service that you can. Don't overextend yourself to fail at service. And you want to get the reasonable rate. Again, if you're demanding that the relationship is $2 a mile, you probably, for that other business, are not the best relationship option yourself. So remember, we gotta make money, their customers have to make money, everybody has to make money, and it's not like everyone is making a pile of money and just dumping all the losses on you. At the end of the day, you accept the freight and use that relationship properly. So you're gonna provide the best service, but you're gonna demand that, hey, look, I'm gonna provide you the best service, no questions asked, but I want access to the freight. And be realistic with rates, because if there is going to be other people more realistic with rates and more understanding, you will be getting a shorter end of the stick. All right, now what else works? Strategy, planning, back-to-back booking. When the rates are good, how much per mile you get has quite a bit to do with the good outcome of your total settlement. When the rates are bad, you already lost that end. So now, instead of wasting your energy and effort to fight for what does not even exist, or compromise extremely to get what you want. For example, let me give you some examples of extreme compromises. You're stuck in this burning world at $2 a mile. Well, guess what? You're gonna get $2 a mile for 50 miles, maybe for 100 miles, 150 miles. That's what you're gonna get $2 a mile for. But do the math. How is that going to affect your bottom line, your paycheck, And is that going to be enough to pay the bills? Because sometimes $1.30, $1.40, $1.50 a mile, $1.60, $1.70 is way, way better if you do a lot of miles than $2 a mile for 100 miles per day. And those of you who say, oh yeah, but I could do two of those trips, 100 miles each. I'm sorry, man. Are you blind? The world is burning. That's what's going on. And now you think that everything is really, really bad for everyone else. But somehow the global economy, the national economy, is not going to affect you, and you're just going to run business as usual. It's just not going to happen. And again, I'm not saying you're not deserving it. You are deserving it, because let me, just my personal opinion. Man, the cops, the nurses, we always get the better end of the stick. And nobody is appreciating truck drivers enough, even though this is a backbone of American economy. So, I don't know, but just look around and be realistic. One of the very, very important tools that you need to utilize is pre-booking freight in advance, because most of the time pre-booking freight in advance in spot market is considered it's going to be a lower rate. However, in this market, the difference may be you being able to access the customer to even have a conversation about this load, and not being able to access the customer to have that conversation about the load. Plus, everyone who was waiting for the last minute, some of those guys were already there for 2 days, and we are willing to roll. We are very agitated, and most of the time the negotiations are not going very well. It's either take it or leave it, and you don't want to be in that situation. You want to be able to calmly approach the customer, and in this current economy, that's at least 1 or 2 days in advance. So pre-booking, extremely important, more than ever. And again, if you're a guy chasing $2 a mile right now, I believe it's going to work against you, not for you. Because what we're talking about here, getting the most out of what's out there. Not getting what you want, but getting what you can. All right, now let's talk about best areas to be at. I was watching, I think, last Thursday's Super Tracker podcast, where we do review the rates, and Ralph, he said that his preference is being in major market areas such as Dallas, big cities, Dallas, Chicago, Atlanta, because apparently there is more freight. Now, I'm not gonna agree or disagree with this. I'm just gonna share my personal experience with that type of scenario. For me personally, it worked a lot better in the rural areas. Remember, I was dispatching through 2008 crisis, so maybe it wasn't as bad, but trust me, it was bad. It was bad. The country wasn't like physically shut down, but it was naturally, economically shut down. So I'm not even sure which one is worse. And the reason I would prefer rural areas is the same reason why I say you should be pre-booking freight way in advance right now. Because here's what's going on. Let me give you an example. Let's use Dallas, for example. Dallas, 3,000 trucks, 2,000 loads. That's just an example. I'm not sure if it is a 2,000 loads in Dallas today. But so now you have this chaos. 3,000 dispatchers bugging the crap out of customers and brokers on the same day freight. And it becomes chaotic. It becomes chaotic because if you're a broker and all you want to do is just cover your freight, you don't want to be talking to those thousands of dispatchers just to cover one load. And everyone wants to negotiate. Everyone is tired of this economy. Everybody is pissed. So nobody is willing to have a conversation. And the negotiations happens, the effective negotiations happens when you can have an actual conversation with people. So in this chaotic, environment of so many phone calls and so limited freight, everyone is kind of not as compassionate, if I may. And let's say in the same exact scenario, you are in a faraway rural area with potentially way more deadhead and stuff, but you're gonna work it out anyway. Now you have same numbers, just different spectrum. So now you have 3 loads and 2 trucks. No, the other way around. 2 loads, 3 trucks. Now the negotiation process is going to be way more level-headed, way more calm, because now you can actually get a hold of a customer. Now you can actually talk to them. Now you don't have to take it or leave it the last second. And because none of those, 3 trucks are just gonna jump and grab it, because it's not gonna seem so crazy, urgent, and desperate. Everything is just gonna be way more calm with the same ratio of load to truck. And that just always worked out for me, always. Plus you do the fishing strategy. I can probably make another video just on that, or maybe Michael can make a video about it. How do you do the fishing strategy? How do you position your postings and where you at, and how to be effective? Because effectiveness, that's what works. Now we touch base on all the tools that you need to start utilizing and understanding. A couple of other things that I want to touch base. Staying with your current company, if possible, until things improve or settle. Now let me touch base on that. If you don't have your own plates, if you don't have your own everything, jumping the company right now will constrain your cash flow. So basically, if you don't have your own plates, the chances are you already paid for plates in this company. Now just because somebody said something from their experience a year ago that was totally different ball game, now you're jumping the company. You're probably getting into their plate program that right away gonna be draining your paycheck. Now you have to build up the security deposit. That's again draining your paycheck, at least $100 per week. All those things will affect you, plus time loss, because it will take a little bit of time to onboard anyway, at least a couple of days, at least in the best case scenario. I've heard Landstar, it takes them like 30 days right now. So keep that in mind, because the chances are after you jump, you will hit the same market, same scenario as it is now, but you will generate an additional totally unnecessary expenses. And I'm not saying, like if you work for the company, for us, I'm not just saying to keep you here. No. It doesn't matter where you work. This is an effective strategy until the things get better. And I'm not a big fan of jumping the companies regardless of what's going on. But sometimes it is what it is, and sometimes you have to make a move. In most cases, just to align yourself with a right type of work and right people. That's all it is. Now, another very, very big one, and I promise I'm already almost done. Don't torture yourself daily for every load that may pay less than you deserve. Lock in onto your goal, onto your weekly goal, and that is it. If you're gonna start, burning in your head every load that you are doing or about to do or about not to do, you will just burn out. Sometimes, even during good times, I see drivers, we take one backhaul and they so burn themselves out that we are unable to continue working that week. And instead of reaching your goal, your total goal, no matter what, now we get this one little backhaul and we go home. Going home is not gonna help you in this situation. And for those of you again who says I'd rather park than run, hey, good for you, because that kind of shows me that you probably have it all set up and probably have a lot of money. That's amazing, and maybe you can stick around. However, in this situation, I'm afraid that it's not just gonna flip back into open and back to normal. I think there is gonna be a lot more to the story, and every penny, even if you have savings that you don't spend because of what you make, is gonna help you a lot. But anyway, if you park, you park. That's good for you, good for the people who are in not as good of a situation and are a lot more needy to make that paycheck. All right, last thing, absolutely last thing, guaranteed. Remember, man, this problem is bigger than you or me. Let me just read that there. This video is not how you get what you want when the rest of the world is drifting to hell. It's about how to adapt to this bad situation and keep your business afloat when everything else is sinking. I hope to see you doing well on the other side once unpredictable adventure settles. And I truly mean that. Anyway, guys, like, share, subscribe. I'm pretty sure there's a lot of truck drivers out there that could use some of those tools to be more effective, to push through, and I'll see you on the other side.